From the NBC University Theater, a full-hour dramatization of one of the great romantic novels of our time, Mary Webb's Precious Bane. Our stars, Maureen O'Sullivan and Dan O'Herlihy. Herewith, one of the most passionate works of literature to come out of England in the 20th century. Mary Webb's Story of the Shropshire Country, Precious Bane. This novel, which won the Femina V. Hilleuse Prize for 1924-1925, has lately been enjoying a well-deserved revival in America. We bring it to you today in a drama version by Mary Stuart Garden. Our commentator, whose recorded estimate of Mary Webb's writing will be heard at intermission, is Dr. Harvey C. Webster, Director of Education by Radio Courses at the University of Louisville. Here now, Miss Maureen O'Sullivan and Mr. Dan O'Herlihy, starring in Precious Bane.
We are told that Sarn Mere was a dark and fearsome English lake, and rising suddenly out of it was an ancient road, standing straight and white, extending farther than the eye could see, on to Lullingford, and thence, as might be expected, to Rome, perhaps. But here at Sarn, the fingers of Rome ended at the mere, where some said a village was buried deep under the water. Around the mere was the hard and rocky land of Sarn, where the plough ripped and tore at the unyielding earth. On beyond, there were trees of black foliage that shut out the sun and the brightness that filled all the other farms of Shropshire. Here it was, the generations of Sarns had lived and begotten their children from time beyond memory. And here, too, grew the foxglove, whose leaves, when brewed into a bitter tea, becomes a deadly poison. Folks called it Precious Bane. Still, on Sundays in those early years of the 19th century, the church bells could be heard even here. And Gideon and Prudence Sarn came their ways homeward, talking of things as young folk are often apt to do.
Methinks you're true smitten with Jancis Begildy, Gideon.
And who would not be?
Indeed, no one. She be the most beautiful girl in all Shropshire. 'Twill not be long afore she's promised and wed.
He mun be a rich man who takes Jancis to wife, for her father, old Wizard Gildy, sells his goods dearly.
Then you mun become rich and powerful, lad.
And that may be, Prue Zarn. I've been thinking somewhat on that.
Gideon, think you that I be wed too someday?
And why not? When I become rich, my sister'll have lovers enough begging for her hand.
But my lip... Gideon, what of the mark?
If he be a smart lad, he'll not look on your face too closely.
Oh, well, 'tis time enough to think on that. Right now I'd be more afeard to go home after taking dog's leave from church again and playing truant.
Watch your story and we'll not be found out. Now, what is it we're to say of the parson's text?
Burning and fuel of fire.
And the sermon?
A parson told about Adam and Eve and Noah and Jesus in the manger.
That's it. We've naught to worry about.
Oh, I be feared still. Father be a ravening lion of a man when his temper's up.
That's true enough. All us Sarns be black and sullen at times. Well, anyway, 'tis time I stood to him.
Oh, Gideon, you dare not.
I do. I be 17 now, girl, and near a man. I'll take no more leathering off in him. Oh, hush now, we're home, and I'll not have him hear our talk.
Well, look, Mother. Our children be home already from church.
And right glad I be. Here, Prue, look at it.
Tell me, Gideon, what was the text?
Burning and fuel of fire.
What was the sermon?
Adam and Eve and Noah and Jesus in the manger.
Liars. Liars, both of you. Parson called by just now to see was this sickness. There being none of us at church. You've taken dog's leave again.
No, Zan. It be the Sabbath, Zan. Nays not the whip.
Put down that whip, Father.
No, Father Gideon.
No.
Hush, you woman.
Oh.
'Tis shame you should have of your children. The girl with the devil's mark on the lip and the boy acting like he came from the same smithy.
Could I help it if a hair crossed my path? Could I help it?
You'll make game of me, boy. I'll give you the best hiding you ever had. Father.
I told you.
Oh, Gideon, strike him not. No.
I told him. He'll never use the whip again.
Son, come to thyself.
Oh, 'tis no use, Mother. His lips be too tight closed. There, Mother. Be still now. It be too late for crying. Gideon, you've killed thy father.
I'll go now, Mother, and housen up the stock.
I am the resurrection and the life. As we bury the master of Sorn, be there a soul present who would eat his sins and so warranty his entry into heaven? Be there a sin-eater?
There be no sin-eater.
Alas, no. There be no sin-eater for poor Zan. Gideon wouldn't have one.
Let me. I'll be my father's sin-eater.
Gideon.
Can I mean?
Aye, I mean it. But if I be sin-eater, Mother, you mun give me the farm and all.
I care not for the farm, boy. I fear for thee. Sin-eaters be accursed.
There be no curse to drink a sup of your own wine and crumble a crumb of your own bread.
Aye. Then let your father rest in peace. You be young and strong enough to live your years with his sins. All right, my son.
And the farm is mine?
Aye, 'tis all yours.
Stand back, all. With this our wine, I drink to him that was my father. I give easement and rest now to thee, dear man. Come not down our lanes, nor in our meadows. And for thy peace, I pawn my own soul.
With the turf all at your head, dear man, and another at your feet, your good deeds and your bad ones all before the Lord shall meet.
Mother to bed?
Aye, Gideon. She be worn from weeping at father's burial. But she holds it not again you.
'Tis done now. What's done, done. We mun talk now. Prue, you and me has got to get on.
And Mother?
Her too, but she's old. If we get on, she will. But that be neither here nor there. You and me have got to work, Prue.
We always work, Gideon.
More, Prue, 'tis not enough. If I have my way, we'll work and save again the day when we'll be rich.
For why?
For why? For power, for me, 'tis why. So I can tell the folk what to do, and who's to go into the stocks, and vote for the Parliament men. And for you, there'll be a grand house with serving wenches and lots of fine furniture and silver plate and...
For why?
For a gold thimble and a press full of gowns. And, Prue, mayhap there'll be a husband for you, and a wife for me, of course.
Aye, a wife for you for certain. Mayhap chances be guilty. Hair lips don't have husbands, Gideon.
Not if they be poor, but we'll be rich, Prue, and we'll have the doctor man make a cure for your lip.
Oh, you think that? Ah, that's a hope worth holding. What mun we do then?
Well, Prue, listen. It's corn we want, acres of corn. If England wins the war with the French, corn will come high. We mun put more land under corn.
Oh, it will be dreadful toil.
But not all toil. I've been thinking, Prue, that you can learn to read and write like you've been wanting. Chances his father, old wizard Begildy, can learn you.
'Tis long I've been wanting to be a scholar. But how will I pay him?
In work.
In work.
Aye, dig his taters, cut his hay, drive his plough now and again. The wizard's bone lazy. He'll trade you learning for work.
Aye, I reckon he'll be right glad to. And I'll do all you want me to, Gideon. But now let me go and rest a bit.
Aye, wait.
What?
Before you go, Prue, you mun need swear to me. Say after me, I promise and vow to obey my brother Gideon Zarn.
I promise and vow to obey my brother Gideon Zarn.
I'll be as biddable as apprentice, a wife, and a dog.
I'll be as biddable as apprentice, a wife, and a dog.
And I'll hire myself out to him as a servant, for no money until all that he wills be done.
And I'll hire myself out to him as a servant, for no money until all that he wills be done. And so it was that Gideon's will was done. I worked alongside of him, doing chores needing more than a woman's strength. Mother, lost and lonely since father's death, tended the pigs. Late at night, when my work in the fields was done, I would go up to the attic, and there, with the eager satisfaction that only the hungry heart can know, practice my writing, the long script and the small. Once each week I went to Begildy's for my lesson with the wizard. And sometimes I saw Jancis there.
Afternoon, Prue.
Afternoon, Jancis. Be your father waiting on me, mayhap?
He's in his room. But he leathered me, Prue, on account of Gideon and me walking out on Sundays.
Leathered you, child? For why?
He do not like Gideon, Prue. Father says that Gideon was born under the 3-penny planet, and so he'll never keep money.
Such talk. He been saving and saving, has Gideon. Again the day when he can wed you.
But Father says that Gideon sleeps on his face, too. And them as do will drown.
Oh, sure. I'll talk to him, that wizard. I'll wile him with his own spells, and I'll charm him with his own charms.
Hush, girl.
Is it you, Prusan?
'Tis I, mister. Come for my lesson.
Well, now. I make no doubt you've ploughed a tidy bit.
Aye.
Well, what I learn you to write this afternoon, lass?
Learn me to write, marriages be made in heaven, and whom God hath joined together, let not man put asunder.
Clever wench. But you'll not get the better of me, a wizard as knows the fortunes of all, knows what be bad for his child, and Gideon's son, for all he's thy brother, be the son of Satan. Born to no good he is, and never will he marry with my daughter.
Now cease, mister, leave be. If you meddle, maybe you'll do more harm you can amend.
No more now. I've said me say. Don't weary me. Come now, the lesson, and I'll learn you to write. Intermeddle not with high matters.
How like you this town of Lullingford, Prue?
Oh, 'tis a happy place, Gideon, and a right Christmassy morning, too.
Christmassy or not, 'twas a successful morning. All the wares we sold at market, and I bought in a team of right good oxen. Now we can pull stump, and another 20 acre will go under corn.
Oh, Gideon, be there enough hours in the day?
There be the night, too. But now we'll stop for a snack at a mug of cider.
Oh, it be fair crowded.
Here's a table. Sit you down, Prue.
Why did the folks cease talking, Gideon?
Pay them no mind.
Why do they stare at me?
Pay them no mind, I told you. They dunna know better. Here, girl, bring us food.
Not I.
Host! Where be the host here?
Aye, son. Aye. It's somewhat wrong indeed.
Aye, there be plenty wrong. There be silence enough for the mug of cider, but no food for the hungry.
Blame them not, young son. Righteous folk know that the hair shouldn't be witches. They be afeard of this woman.
Been you more afeard of witches, mayhap, than the feel of my hand?
I'll serve you, son.
Then bring us bread and cheese and tea. Hot tea and strong.
Aye, son. Will be a moment.
Good day to you, son of son.
Good day, young Mr. Camperdown. And how be your father, the squire?
Well, thank you. He was saying just the other day that he'd like to have some talk with you, son, about the election that's coming soon. First come and see us one day and take bite and sup. That is, if your sweetheart can spare you.
sweetheart?
Aye. Could be you'll be too busy dancing with her on Difel Mountain, alongside the other witches.
Sir! This be my sister. But if I've a mind to dance on Difel Mountain along of witches, I will. And if I've a mind to dance upstairs at the Unfall alongside of your gentry, I will. But I wouldn't ask your sister for a partner. And I don't know if I could take bite and sup, not even mayhap vote for a squire who couldn't teach his pup better manners.
Gideon.
That's rough talk, son.
Aye, and could get rougher. But our food's here now, and we'll eat. My sister and I. You'd best be leaving, young squire. Eat now, sister. Eat. You mun pay them no mind.
Why be you so silent, Gideon? Been you tired after such a long day?
Aye, a bit. But not too tired to do some thinking. You know, Prue, as how Jancis and me have taken up together in real earnest.
Aye, and right glad I be, lad.
I didn't think to ever care for any wench like I do about that girl, Prue. I so hunger and thirst after Jancis. Pretty near as much as I do after that grand house I showed you, that I mean to have someday.
Oh, Gideon, the house be too grand. Too many windows and not a light in any of them. 'Tis a house without a heart, lad. Jancis will be happy enough to make home in Sarn.
Nay, Prue, but no mind. Anyway, it'll be a while yet afore Jancis and me'll be wedded in church.
Oh, dinna wait too long. 'Twould be nice to dangle a babe on my knee afore the fire.
Needs time, Prue, and money.
And there's the yarn to be spun and the linen to be woven. That takes time, too.
Let the women come together and hold a love spinning if Jancis like. But mind you, no wedding plans.
Mrs. San and Prue.
Oh, and right welcome ye, both of ye. Let me take your bonnets, and then you can start right in. We've a mort of spinning to do afore the new weaver gets here.
New weaver?
Aye, he must be the nephew of old John Weaver, who drowned in the mere a month agone.
And I saw them in the spring.
Better sit here, Mrs. San. It be near the fire.
Thank ye kindly. It's good wood to spin flax and hemp and not wool.
Aye, the wool spinning wheels be hard to carry.
Can that be the new weaver already?
Your servant, ladies. The weaver, if you please. Name of Chester Woodseeds.
At the sound of his voice, my heart grew big, and I rose up from my seat as if he were my own bidden guest. And then I remembered my hair-shotten lip. So I made myself small and edged my way out the door. For I remembered the waking dream, the one that came to me so often. There was always a great crowd of people beside the troubled waters of Sarn. They were all dressed in holiday colors, but their faces were full of evil. Then one came riding through them on a tall horse, and a woman came forth from the crowd. She had green, blazing eyes, and she cried out, pleading to the rider to take her on his saddle. But he turned aside from her to me, who stood hidden with my torn, sad-colored dress, with my hair-shotten lip. And he stooped to me, saying, my dear acquaintance. And who was he? And what was his face? It was Chester Woodseeds, the weaver. My lover, my master.
Jancis! Where is the baggage?
I'll be right here, Father.
On my way home from Lullingford, I met young Squire Pepperdine, and we fell a talking. He wouldn't have believed that I could raise Venus. So I wagered him I could, and tomorrow he'll come see for himself, and I'll win me £5.
Raise Venus?
Tell me, do you know who be Venus?
Aye, she be the spirit of love.
Aye, she be love, but in this case, no spirit, lass. She'll be you.
But how can I be Venus when she be not of this world?
I'll raise her. With me supernatural powers, I'll raise her. Only instead of Venus, 'twill be you I'll be raising through the trap door from the cellar. Not that I couldn't raise Venus herself if I'd the mind to. But 'tis a matter of time and the right herbs what don't grow in these parts.
But talk do grow in these parts, Father.
Talk? What sort of talk?
The sort of talk my Gideon'll be hearing.
My Gideon, is it? Well, let me tell you, my girl, there'll be no my Gideons living in the McGildy family. No black-hearted son with the devil's mark on him for killing his own father is going to claim you for bride whilst I live.
Father, I love him.
Then I curse him, mark you. I curse him with the wizard's curse. All he touches will go for naught, like the love twixt you. We'll be raising Venus tomorrow, else I'll whip you till the blood comes. Mind me now. I'll whip you till the blood comes.
He'd whip me till the blood comes. Those were his very words, Prue. What's to be done for me?
Done for you? I'm bound if I know.
Prue.
Aye, Jancis.
Could not you do it for me?
Me? Oh, dear to goodness me. Pretend to be the most beautiful woman that ever was.
But, Prue, he will not see your face, and Gideon would be so vexed.
Tell me, Jancis, be you very fond of Gideon?
I love him.
I'll do it for you then, Jancis.
Oh, you be good, Prue. I'll make it up to you someday, and the best of it is that it will not matter to you, seeing as you'll never have a lover of your own.
Go away now. I'll be out there tomorrow, have no worry. But go away quick now. Out of my sight.
Fair one, rise and return to life. Oh, say the saints hear my words of wisdom. For I am the wizard. I know all. I see.
And so I played Venus. The wizard Brigilde never knew. He pulled the ropes, and the groaning tackle carried me up to the dimmery room and to the mockery of the play acting. Then I came up clear from the trap door, and I saw the young squire start forward in his chair and hold out his hands like a child in a pastry shop. And I laughed to think he didn't recognize the woman he'd called a witch last Christmas at the Mug of Cider. Then I heard a movement on the other side of the room, and turning that way, I could have cried aloud, for there sat the weaver, Kester Woodseaves. He too was leaning forward, and he made to hold his arms out to me, and then drew back, gave a shivering sort of sigh. And it came on me as a great joy that it was my own self and no other that had made him hold out his arms. For in that place he couldn't see my lip. He could see only me, gleaming pale as any woman would. And a blush was on me from head to foot. And I was cold as ice as well. Yet I couldn't help but rejoice. But there was no good in it after all. For the young squire was lustful and the wizard greedy. The two were well met, so trouble brewed.
Prue!
Whatever now, child?
Prue, I'd be in trouble for sure. The young squire, he wants to buy Venus. That which he thinks is me.
The wizard? He'd sell his own daughter?
Oh, yes, Prue. For profit, he'd even sell his wife.
Oh, I cannot believe it.
'Tis true. Either I'm to go with young squire, or I'll be bound out for kitchen wench for 3 years. That is, unless Gideon wed with me now.
Gideon will not, I'm feared, my dear. He be fixed in his mind about saving more money. Naught'll turn him from that.
But I would not stop him, Prue.
You'll be another mouth to feed. And if you aim...
I shouldn't,
Oh, you cannot tell, Jancis. And if little ones come, what about all those plans Gideon's so set on?
Prue, I cannot bear it.
Well, we can but try. Here comes Gideon.
Will you put in a word, wise-like?
Whoa, Benzo, hold there.
I'll put in a word.
Oh, you'll be early, Jancis.
And welcome.
Aye, surely welcome.
I've got bad news, Gideon.
So?
Begildy wants to sell Jancis to young Camperdown for his pleasure. And if she says no, she's to go as a kitchen wench and be bound for 3 years.
What? The wizard would sell my girl? Dang me, I could kill him for that.
Oh, there'll be no killing, Gideon. But what's she to do? This is your hour of choice, lad.
What mean you, Prue?
I mean 'tis for you to decide. If you marry with Jancis now, you'll mayhap find the keys to heaven. You'll go down the path of love and no merry days. This other path, the path that we be treading now, is a strange and twisted path, lad, where mayhap grows the bane.
The precious bane? A poisoned foxglove? That grows by the mere.
No, Gideon. 'Tis another kind of precious bane. That's what grows in hell and eats the spirit, and will surely kill us all.
Oh, Gideon, be my sweetheart.
Oh, don't. I know where you'll both be dragging me. You, Prue, with your eyes so strongly upon me. You'll be pulling me down to poverty and the loss of all I've dreamed of.
I'd work double hard, lad.
What use? There'd be mouths to feed and more mouths to feed. And never no grand house, nor maids and men, nor pew in church. No money for the hare lip. No hail fellow with the gentry of me. No, I mun make my money first.
Oh, to wed her now will only put the riches off for a bit.
For a bit? It'd put 'em off forever and ever. Let her be bound out.
Gideon!
We'll wait 3 years. There'll be naught else to do but wait.
From Hollywood, the NBC University Theater is bringing you Maureen O'Sullivan and Dan O'Herlihy in a radio version of Mary Webb's Precious Bane. And now, our introduction commentator, Dr. Harvey C. Webster of the University of Louisville.
As you have heard, as you are hearing, Precious Bane is an exciting story. Indeed it is, like Shakespeare's plays, full of good, even sensational action. Only Mary Webb's great skill and insight saves her novel from becoming as melodramatic as any blood and thunder story you've ever read. Yet, and again Shakespeare's plays come to mind, after you're through with the exciting listening, even after you're through with the even more exciting reading, it isn't the action, the mere story, you think of and remember. In all of her novels, 7 for a Secret, House in Dormer Forest, The Golden Arrow, finally and best in Precious Bane, you have the sense that these people are so credibly what we are, or might be, that nothing they do is implausible. Each of us nearly became Gideon with his too great love of the precious Bane. Each of us thinks he has a flaw as bad as Prue's hair-cross flip. Each of us, fortunately, has something of the gentleness of Prue's weaver. These people are supposed to have lived in Shropshire more than 100 years ago, and their ways, interestingly, differ from ours. Yet they suggest that relative absolute human nature that changes slowly, when at all. Nor does Mary Webb's Shropshire, so very different from Houseman's somber country we also can recognize as true, seem remote either in time or in space. Harvest times have changed, but the sights and sounds surrounding have altered little. We still have woodpeckers that fly into elm trees and laugh to see them so green, into ash trees and laugh to see them so bare. And even in our cities, we need to be good laughers, like the woodpeckers Mary Webb has worded into vividness. If we can laugh so at the end of long living, she writes, we've not lived in vain. After you've finished listening, you'll go back, I hope, to the novels of this woman our times has appreciated more adequately than her own. In her beautifully exact words, you get to know her country and her people, to experience again what Mary Webb thought and felt and wrote is a great privilege, a pleasure that leaves us more knowing than we were before.
Thank you, Dr. Webster. Our radio version of Precious Bane, starring Maureen O'Sullivan and Dan O'Herlihy, will continue from Hollywood after a brief pause for station identification.
We were all in Lullingford together for the hiring fair when Jancis was taken by the Gribbles for dairymaid. They signed her on for 3 years. For 3 long years she'd be 20 miles the other side of Lullingford, where none of us could keep her from loneliness. But when business was done, there was still the afternoon ahead of us. I did see the weaver, but remembering my hair-shotten lip, I did hide from him until the ruckus began about the bull baiting.
Oh, Weaver, here comes Grimble and his dogs for the bull baiting.
Is there to be a baiting now?
Aye, Weaver. 'Tis a young beauty of a bull. And Grimble has waited as hard to be his big mastiff that'll kill it.
What? Why, that be not fair sport. I'll put a stop to it.
You cannot stop Grimble's dogs.
Aye, Weaver. They be killing dogs.
Men, this bull baiting cannot go on.
What's to stop it, mister?
Well, in a while there'll be a law, I hope. But for now, Grimble, I'd leaf stop it myself.
Them's big words, mister.
Who owns the bull?
It be mine, Weaver.
Ah, Mr. Callard. What be the price of the bull?
£20, Weaver.
It's a big price. Be all I've got, but here it is. Take it, Callard.
Oh, thank you kindly, lad. I will.
And now the bull be bought in Grimble. There'll be no baiting.
Aye, we'll not be robbed of our sport, mister. There be other bulls, men.
Hold, mister. I'll be your bull.
Oh, no. No.
You be afeard for me, Prusan?
No. I'd be afeard for a fool.
Ah, well, that's as we shall see. Well, now, what say you, Grimble?
Sounds like good sport. What think ye, men?
All right, mister. I'll take the dogs on, one at a time. Not to kill 'em, mind you, but to put 'em on chains with naught but my bare hands.
I'll put 20 shillings on Weaver.
I'll take ye. He canna do it, for all he be a good rustler.
Beating fair to burst when the weaver clambered into the ring. They turned loose the snarling, slavering beasts. And then, 'twas like a miracle at first. As the beasts would run again him, they would suddenly recognize a friend in the weaver. For he traveled from house to house and knew all the dogs around about. And at the touch of his gentle fingers, the beasts would fall to whimpering with pleasure. But then it was time for Grimble's dog, a mastiff big and fierce and strange to these parts.
You're done for now, Weaver. My mastiff will make tatters of ye.
Turn him loose.
Straight at the arse of Dr. Kester and sunk his teeth into my master's throat. Take him off, you Grimble! Call your dog off!
And lose me wager!
The girl! Watch the girl! She got a knife! Look out, Prue!
Water! Bring water! Oh, where be the doctor's man?
I'm here. I be the doctor.
His throat be bitten deep and he's bleeding bad.
Let me look. Hey, we mun have fire to heat the iron.
Then bring the sticks. You, Gideon, bring sticks. Grimble, help my brother light the fire.
You, light the fire yourself.
Hark you, Grimble. The knife that killed your dog might still kill the master.
The iron be ready now. You mun hold him, Prusan.
Hold your Weaver, Prue. That's the least you can have for saving his life.
He be hurt bad, but not quite fainted.
Then hold tight. He'll squeal for this.
There, my dear. It be done now. None can hurt you now. After it was all over, the Callards took Kester home with them to nurse, while Gideon and I took leave of Jancis and rode home to Sarn. The days were like always, filled with naught but work. But now I did have my thoughts of love. And as winter drew on, I remember that these were the months of the weaver's journeyings from farm to farm. And it did seem likely that he'd pass this way. But news of him came instead another way.
Prue, here be a letter Miller's boy just brought. You mun read it for me, girl. I've no doubt it be from Jancis, but who wrote it for her, I don't know.
Give it to me. Aye, it be from Jancis.
And read it.
From the High Farm, Outrack, Shropshire, England, to Gideon, my dear acquaintance. This be from Jancis by the hand of Kester Woodsieves, the weaver, who is here for 2-3 days to do a bit of weaving for Mrs. Grimble. He and I do talk a good deal about that day at the hiring fair, and Mr. Woodsieves said you are a fine fellow to have a plucky sister like Prue to rush in and save a fellow's life like she did. Weaver says that if he ever had a dear acquaintance, he'd leave she be that sort. And 'tis a pity he knows her not better. I be sore worked here, and right lonesome for all of you. Mayhap you will give Prue the time to write a letter in return to this. And so good night, and maybe I shall see you at the Christmas market. So wise and good was he to think of me thus. Gideon said in his gruff way, "Aye, write her what you will." And now, what joy it was to write Jancis the letter that only the weaver could read. I wrote what were my thoughts, and he would read them and answer. And in this way more than a year did pass, and then suddenly there were no more letters from Jancis. But Gideon didn't worry, for the corn stood high on the 100 acres where once there'd been naught but scrub. Never in the country had there been such a crop. And with the corn priced crazy high, we knew that at last Gideon would be rich, and all his dreams fulfilled.
I tell you, Prue, it be almost over. We'll be as rich come harvest as 'tis possible to be in these parts.
I be happy for you, lad.
And happy for yourself, too, I'm thinking. Who be it?
It be me, Gideon.
Why, Jancis.
She's run away and broke her bond.
I had to come home, Gideon. I've been so fretted you'd forget me. Be I still your own dear acquaintance?
And what for not? Here, give us a kiss, wench.
Oh.
You'll see how glad I be that you've wrought back. I see no need for waiting now. We'll wed come Michaelmas.
Oh, Gideon, did you hear that, Prue?
Aye, and I be glad for both of you.
Think you that Father'll be angry?
What do we care if old Wizard be angered, girl? He wanted you to wed money, didn't he?
Aye.
Well, after harvest home, I'll be the richest man in all Shropshire.
And so the end of summer came, and never in all my life was in such a harvest like the one we had at Sarn. The neighbors came from all around, as was the custom, to help with the leasing and the lugging of the corn.
Was a farmer's son, kept sheep on the hill, and he walked out one May morning to see what he could kill, and sing, blow away the morning dew, dew and the dew.
Everyone was happy. There was shouting and laughter and merry songs from everyone. Even Mother was singing in her little old, tired, sweet voice. In the noon spell, I went up to the high pasture, hoping mayhap the weaver had heard of our harvesting and would be coming to lend a hand. 'Twas an answer to my praying when I saw him coming across the meadows, first 2 fields off, then 1 field, until at last he saw me and waved his hat and called to me.
"'Tis a good day, Prue, son."
Aye, Weaver.
Prue, for once you didn't run away.
Aye.
So there's a chance to thank you for saving my life at the bull baiting.
I wasn't but saving the life of a foolish, headstrong man.
Well, he thanks you for it most kindly. And you know, Prue,
You can write a good letter.
They were Gideon's letters.
But then I take it very kind in Gideon to tell me to change my socks when they be wet, and offer the sewing work and the pickle and the dams and cheese. I tell you, I must have judged the chap cruel, for I'd heard tell that Sarn was a hard man. You must be main fond of him, Prue.
Ah, yes, I be.
And there's 2-3 people love you, too, Prue Sarn.
Hey, Weaver, wagon be come and we be entered for you.
I be coming.
And there's one thing I must say to you, Prue. I never knew mother's love, nor yet a sister's, nor yet the sweethearts. But if I had, I shouldn't have forgotten them. I should have forgotten them all 3 that day in Lullingford when you held me in your arms.
Oh, blow away the morning dew, how sweet the winds do blow.
With that he turned sharp and went over to the wagon, and I went about more leasing until the shadows lengthened and the sun was low in heaven. And then the parson stopped by.
People, let us give thanks for daily bread.
We give thanks unto the Lord.
God bless the corn and the master of Thorn, and may his good deeds return to him as doves to the mountains.
Amen. The harvest home, friends, and thank ye kindly. Let every man who's lent a hand claim task work from me from this on, till I've paid my debt. But hold! There be more to tell ye. Jancis be guilty and me be going to wed, come Michaelmas. Now my mother, Mrs. Sarn, bids me say the feast is spread in the orchard, and all are welcome.
And everyone was full of gladness for them. I was glad old Wizard Begildy hadn't come today to cast a shadow.
As I walked out one May morning, so early I overtook a handsome maid.
So, that's where you be, Prue. Not dancing?
I'm not like other girls, Weaver.
Now that's foolish talk, lass. Come, walk with me. Prue, I must be leaving soon. I'm off to apprentice myself tomorrow for 10 months to learn the coloured weaving in London town. Coloured weaving brings in a tidy sum, you know.
And when will you be brought back?
Oh, in time for next August fair. I'll come and talk with you then, Prue Sarn.
Maybe you'll forget.
I don't think so.
Well, God bless you, Weaver.
And keep you, Prue. Now I must go off and wish good luck to Sarn.
Gideon be somewhere near with Jancis.
Nay, lass, 'twill not do.
Oh, Gideon, I be afeard.
Well, there be naught to fear, Jancis. We'll be wed afore the wizard's return.
Gideon. Oh, I couldn't help it here. Can you not wait for the wedding?
I wouldn't.
And you, Jancis?
I be for Gideon, Prue.
Tonight, then?
Oh, I'm feared. Dreadful feared.
Who be it? Your man, the wizard, back a week early. A show of light. Well, missus, where be Jancis?
She be asleep.
And since when did ye give the wench our room and sleep in the box bed?
I pray ye, don't go in there.
As I thought. Gideon Sarn. I curse ye, Sarn, and for all you've come in like this, you shall not have the wench in wedlock.
No power in the world can stop it, no.
Stop it, I will.
Put down that chair, old man.
I curse ye, Sarn. I curse ye with all the powers that be.
No, Gideon, no.
I curse ye.
And what of the wizard now, Gideon? Be he dead?
No. He's got a head like iron, that one.
Be you worried about Jancis, Gideon?
No.
Think you the wind'll blow the tops off the stacks?
No, they be well weighted. It'll blow itself out soon.
Oh, it has a wild sound to it.
The dealer will be here tomorrow to price the grain.
What be you looking at, Gideon?
There's a strange glow by the stacks.
What be it?
Fire! The stacks are afire!
This way! Bring the buckets! Water! Buckets! Water! Buckets! The big stack! Better let the fire reach the big stack!
It's got the barn! Hurry! Hurry!
Gone. It's all gone.
Gideon, dear sweetheart. It was my father who fired the stacks, I know, but we'll do it again together. I'll work and work and work for you till I die.
Will you, Jancis? Take the girl away, Prue. She be rotten inside.
Gideon!
The devil's daughter, a blight!
It was just like in the beginning now. We started all over. All that winter it was dark weather. There was no heart in any of us. And it was fair lonely without Jancis running in and out. She'd gone away when the officials came and took the wizard off to prison in Silverton for firing the fields. We had to have the doctor manned 2-3 times for Mother. And this irked Gideon, for he liked not the expense and loss of her labour. And his face was fair stricken when the doctor said,
"Well, Mrs. Sarn will pull through now, but she'll work no more."
She'll be no more used for work?
She's to be kept quiet. And you, Prue, give her the Bane. Just a wee pinch of the foxglove in her tea when her heart beats too rapid. And she'll keep fine as fine for many a year.
Foxglove?
Aye, and only a wee pinch. For more than a pinch, and 'twill be stopping at heart instead of slowing it. Well, I mun be going now, and thank you kindly for the tea.
Bedridden. She'll work no more.
I'll get Tivy Sexton for Mother.
Tivy, an extra mouth to feed.
There's naught else to do.
But if she lingers for years, 'twill be a great expense. A great expense. Well, you'll be very middlin', Mother.
Aye, Gideon. I be ailing, lad.
Is not it a sorrow for you that you canna do a day's work?
Aye, it be. But come spring, and I'm be hopes to see the broody heads.
I been figuring today, Mother. 'Tis a great expense having Tivy here to feed as well.
Aye, Gideon. But if she could help a bit longer.
Afternoon, Mother. Life's not much of a pleasure to you. Ailing so?
It's be weary time and again, but in between I'm pretty comfortable, lad.
And I think you'd as lief be in better land. I think you'd as lief be dead as quick. I should think you'd as lief be dead as quick.
Maybe I won't.
Mother died in my arms, and 'twas no doubt Gideon's deed. He'd given her the Bane. He never spoke of the past, and from the look on his face, I knew that he had no heart left in him for any feeling. We were all alone, except for Tivy, who was fair set on pleasing Gideon. The warm weather came early that year, and I was minded of the spring a year agone, when Jancis had returned and there'd been so much happiness. And then one day, when Gideon and Tivy and me were having tea, Jancis came back. Like a ghost she looked, and there was a tiny babe in her arms.
Gideon,
I told you to keep away.
Gideon, can you remember naught of afore?
I mind it. It was a long time ago, time out of mind.
Not so long ago, Gideon. For here be the baby, yours and mine. And it's a boy, Gideon. Not a girl to cumber you with women, but a boy to mind pigs for you ever so soon, and in a few years he'll be driving plow.
That? You offer me that? Help me. Why, if it lives, which I doubt from the look of it, it'll be good for naught. Naught, do you hear me? But go back where you came from.
Aye, Gideon. If that be what you wish.
Gideon, if you didn't bring her back, I'll leave.
But Prue, you swore to me that...
Aye, but I'll break the bond if you didn't bring her back.
Oh, aye. And you hear me, Prue-san. If he do bring her back, I'll tell of the foxglove that killed your mother.
Hush, Tivy.
Tivy, you wouldn't...
I'll see him hanging afore I'll lose him. If there's to be a babe round here, 'twill be mine.
Is this true, Gideon? Dogs. Jancis! Jancis! Jancis!
Prue!
I be here.
What be you doing here by the stream?
Watching.
What be that in your hand?
A baby's shoe. 'Twas your baby, Gideon. And your Jancis. And they be gone in the stream.
Go along now. To the house.
Be you coming?
Go along.
You'll be looking for Jancis?
I'll be finding her. And the baby, too.
Gideon came home in the dark of night, wet from the stream and lifeless. And they laid his body with that of Jancis and the babe until burying time. After that, I couldn't face neither the house nor the land. So I held a sail to get what I could that might take me elsewhere. To Lullingford, perhaps, if I could find work there. And wait for Kester if he still wanted me. The neighbors came from miles around to look and buy summat. Tivy had been wronged by Gideon, and with the help of old Grimble, incited the crowd against me.
So, what am I bid for this table? Good neighbors, people, Archie! Tivy, the sexton's daughter, is summat to say.
I a wronged woman I am. Gideon San was promised to wed with me, and it's 5 months gone that I should have been Mrs. San. But she stopped it. She put me in such mortal fear that I could not come near the place. She being a witch, I was afeard of her. And see what's come to pass. The day after my poor Gideon's death, she sells all. There's no wickedness she wouldn't do. She's so strong because she's a witch.
Hold ye, people all. This be solemn day. In this here water lies a fine farmer. Aye, a man as would have made a mark on, son. Look at the ploughing he done. Bound to be rich he were. Promised to a tidy young woman, too, and righteous.
Aye, that be righteous.
You've heard what Tivy said, and I tell you, what she says be true. Aye, for since birth, Prudence San's been a woman smitten by the Lord. That's why she was friend of Wizard Bigildy, and learned all his wickedness offen him. That's why when she puts her eye on a child, or a beast, or a field of corn, it dwines and withers away. Aye, what did she do to my dog? What did her mother die of? People, I tell you, she died of foxglove.
Byron! Here!
It's the Weaver, Woodfeed.
Well, people, you're having a fine randy, I must say. Grimble, you're always having a fine randy. Last time 'twas a little white bull. Now it's a woman, white as a lily.
What do you want here, Weaver?
Grimble, you and me's had a do before. You're too mean and twisted to be treated as a man. If you don't like the treatment you get, you can fight me any time you like. But you're only good enough to laugh at. Your nose is too long, Grimble. It stirs about in everybody's business. And now maybe it'll stir up the fishes in the meal.
Rusan, will you come with me?
Where?
Wherever I go. Now, don't go silent again, and don't run, Brew. Just come along.
I couldn't speak. I just nodded. Then Kester lifted me high onto his horse afore him, and we rode away towards the mountains. And as we rode, he bent his lips to my ear and whispered,
Ah, my dear acquaintance.
You have been listening to Precious Bane, an NBC University Theater production of the novel by Mary Webb, starring Maureen O'Sullivan and Dan O'Herlihy. With today's broadcast of Precious Bane, the NBC University Theater concludes its summer schedule and departs for a 2-week vacation. We'll be back 3 weeks from now to begin a new season of radio dramas based on the most exciting writings of our time. Be with us for Henry James' Portrait of a Lady, Theodore Dreiser's Sister Carrie, F. Scott Fitzgerald's Babylon Revisited, Ernest Hemingway's For Whom the Bell Tolls, and many other works of this caliber. Your local newspaper will list the day and time of broadcast. Precious Bane was prepared for broadcast by Mary Stewart Garden and starred Maureen O'Sullivan and Dan O'Herlihy. Included in today's cast were Joseph Granby, Rita Lynn, Alma Lawton, Eleanor Audley, Norma Varden, Alec Harford, Ralph Moody, Ralph Sedan, Donald Morrison, Ramsey Hill, Edwin Mills, Ben Wright, and Earl Keane. Don Stanley speaking. Our intermission commentator was Dr. Harvey C. Webster, whose commentary was recorded. The original music score was composed and conducted by Dr. Albert Harris. The NBC University Theater was directed today by Bill Karn. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.